out to in and welcome you inside the United Center for the Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament presented by TIAA. We are at the start of something here in Chicago. It'll be a full week of Big Ten basketball. Top 4 seeds, as you can see, won't play until Friday, but it all begins today. Pair of games, starting with Oregon and Maryland, will also be here for Northwestern and Penn State later today. Welcome courtside, and thank you for being with us. Paul Burmeister alongside Robbie Hummel. And Robbie, there's something about the month of March, a fresh new bracket, and every conference team being here.
And Paul, the magic of March Madness in the postseason is that everybody has a chance. It's kind of a new season. You get to just kind of reload and see where the chips fall. And for all 4 of the teams we're going to see today, not the seasons that they hope to have, but now you look at this opportunity, you win today, you try to stack a couple days and see where that can take you.
It begins for us right here with Oregon and Maryland. And let's start with some respect to seniority. And all the Oregon fans are hoping this will not be the last time they see Nate Biddle play for the Ducks.
Just awesome to see him back on the court. Dealt with that ankle injury, missed a couple weeks, but his 9 games back from that injury, all of them in double figures, averaging 17 and 7. The block's a little bit down, hasn't been as explosive, hasn't shot the ball as well from 3. But Nate Biddle, 3rd team All Big Ten last season, hasn't been that year this year, but good to see him back and good to see him playing through some adversity in his senior year.
So the Ducks look inside to a senior. We go to Maryland. They look outside to a freshman.
Well, and Andre Mills has been a real bright spot here for Buzz Williams Ball Club. 6 straight games in double figures, averaging 23 a game over that stretch. The efficiency, though, jumps out. 49 from the field, 43 from 3 in Big Ten play. He really is upped his game, 14 a game in conference play.
Starting lineups now presented by PetSmart. Biddle coming back from injury. They've had the exact same starting lineup the last 10 games now, and Maryland trying to match them.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this starting lineup from Maryland going big with Washington, Saunders, and Metcalf. They're going to try to match the size of Oregon. Remember that game back in January, Paul? The Ducks blitzed Maryland with 32 points in the paint.
Game 1 of the Big Ten Tournament about to begin. 16-seeded Oregon, 17-seeded Maryland. Winner will play tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. against 9th-seeded Iowa. Buzz Williams, first season as the head coach at Maryland, and Dana Altman, boy, he has had an incredible run. So rare to see him with a losing season, considering he's had 28 consecutive winning seasons, going all the way back to his days at Creighton. Robbie, you're going to see some basketball here for the next few days.
Yes, we will. I love the conference tournaments. You know, some people would argue that they're not necessary. What's the point of the regular season if you're going to have this as well? But, man, if you win one of these and you get to, in a single elimination event, knock off some of the best teams in college basketball, it's really a thrill for the players.
Andre Mills coming off a game where he had 30 points. Diggy Coit not afraid to do that. He's going to get his shots. Mills, offensive rebound. His first bucket.
Boy, Andre Mills, his activity continues on. Now, Oregon, a real breakdown. Diggy Coit struggling with that perimeter jumper. Now, 4 of his last 32. But you don't want to give a scorer who has multiple 40-point games on the year a look like that to start.
Oregon looks inside to Biddle, just like that. Also to Evans. And Robbie, when their guards score too, they are hard to beat.
Well, and they got that from Drew Carter to Kai Simpkins and Des Lindsey. And that win against Washington, where all those guys really contributed to the offense.
Shot clock down to 2. Carter trying to pick up where he left off over the weekend. Rebounded Mills. And if you haven't seen him play, he wouldn't be much fun to guard, but boy, is he fun to watch. Like that. Ball was affected and blocked on the way to the rim to Kai Simpson. Simpkins coming off 18 points. And has missed it from the doorstep. It'll come back the other way.
Oregon, they can be opportunistic, even though they're not a big fast break team. Maryland has really struggled on the year with their transition defense. Those long rebounds, the Terps going to shoot a lot of threes. I think Oregon, they can grab those rebounds and go. They don't finish that one, but they're going to have opportunities to do that.
Diggy Coit back in Chicagoland a couple years ago in Northern Illinois, averaged 21 points per game. Has a couple of 40-point games here for the Terps this season. Mills had 39 last time he was in this area at Northwestern. Shot clock down to 3. Coit, little pull up, and they are different when he's hitting shots.
And a great shot fake there by Coit. But I love the offense. You look at the Terps, it's the ball screen. If Oregon's going to be aggressive, you got to slip out, and that's exactly what Colin Metcalf does right there. A little short roll and spray.
Oregon coming off a win against Washington. It was the best shooting night, their best assist night of the season. Simpkins, he's missed his first couple today.
Boy, he's been shooting the ball better from 3 over the last 5. 6 of 15 from 3. Got a great look there. Biddle with that skip pass. Maryland, if they're going to trap, there's got to be more pressure. Biddle can't be a laser beam across the floor on the look.
Mills with it, last 6 games, averaging 23 points per game. Coit just hit a bucket. Can't leave him open. He's missed both of his threes. Foul against Metcalf. Over the top of Biddle.
It was another good look for Coit. This is the one that he does knock down here. 2 on the ball. You slip out for Metcalf and a little shot fake. They're trying to run him off the line. And Dickie Coit on the season, a pretty good off-the-bounce shooter from 2 at 42%.
We had Oregon last week in Champaign, tough game for them, but we talked about the fact that for a lot of the season, turnovers had been an issue. Yeah. They've really cut them down recently.
No, they've done a much better job of taking care of the basketball, but right now they just need to see something go down. They've gotten some good looks. There's a lid on the rim here at the United Center for the Ducks.
Mills, 3, got it.
Right, Sean Stewart, that's a little bit of over-helping there. You know, as that ball is coming towards you, you got to start tracking back, especially if you're guarding Andre Mills.
So, Robbie, just as I pointed out, they're coming off their best shooting night. Oregon with that lid that you referenced on the hoop starts out 0 for 4.
I like the Ducks coming back here. Nate Biddle can be the guy that can jumpstart the offense. So far, Maryland, though, up to the task. Another post trap and another stop.
Immediately, he was double-teamed when he caught that ball.
When you think about the way that Oregon got these guys in the paint, 32-12 advantage in the January meeting.
Coit quickly to the basket, and he's got 2 more.
The blow-by there going right by Takai Simpkins, and there is no help defense. Dana Altman cannot be pleased with this start. You've missed shots, but now starting to affect their defense on the other end.
Mills and Coit 7, Ducks nothing so far. Evans coming off a game where he had 9 points in the last 24 seconds to seal that win against the Huskies. Biddle does that a little bit. That wasn't even close.
That was right from the start.
They didn't reset the clock. I think it hit the rim. Evans.
Well, what a start for the Maryland Terrapins. A tough one against Illinois on Sunday, but they playing better, and it's shown today. How about Andre Mills, the freshman, continuing to ball out?
Well, guys, neither of these teams necessarily expected to be here playing on the first day of the Big Ten tournament with the number of losses that they've had this year. It's not typically what we've seen from Oregon. The Ducks have won at least 20 games a year for every year. Dating back to 2010. And Maryland, with its proud basketball tradition, hasn't had this many losses in a single season since 1989. But injuries have hit both teams hard this year, with both Pharrell Payne and Jackson Shelstad suffering season-ending injuries in December, forcing both teams to regroup and find scoring elsewhere. It's a good thing with this tournament like this. You can survive and advance and turn your season around. As Nate Biddle told me, there's nothing to lose. It's time to swing away and make the most of this opportunity.
That's what makes March fun for every single team. And again, all 18 teams playing here today. But what makes these 2 teams unique, Robbie, is they've each had to spend time this season figuring out how to play without arguably the best player.
Yeah, I mean, Pharrell Payne, you think about just the physical specimen that he is in a league that's as physical as the Big Ten Conference. And you know, until Colin Metcalf kind of ascended here over these last 10 games, we saw Maryland play some very small lineups, even Solomon Washington at the 5. It's hard to survive against teams like the Michigans, the Michigan States, the Illinois when you go that small. And for Oregon, you lose a point guard the caliber of Jackson Shelstad. It's going to be incredibly hard to replace what he brings, not just from a productivity standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint. Throw in the Nate Biddle injuries, a big part of both these team stories.
Yeah, Oregon also had to go, as you mentioned, 6 games without Biddle, in addition to being without Shelstad, middle of the Big Ten season. Mills already has one of these. A little long that time. Back out to Diggy Colts.
Oregon, it's a lot of point and switch in there. You give Mills an open shot, and early on in this game, we're 5 minutes in. Maryland is just playing harder than what Oregon is. Maryland looks like the team that really wants to be here.
Represented on the glass, they have twice as many rebounds. Shot clock to 1. Mills got in sights, in and outs. Evans rebound.
You've got to watch Solomon Washington on that offensive glass. Second in the league in offensive rebounds. Every time a shot goes up, you've got to go find him.
Immediately inside to Evans. Double team. Carter.
A good recognition there by the Terps. So there was a mismatch, and they sent bodies down there.
Knocked out. 12 seconds to shoot for the Ducks. 2 points they have came on their last possession. Pair of free throws made by Evans. Evans coming off a 20-point game. He was vital down the stretch. Regular season finale win against the Huskies. Biddle looking for his first two. Little pull-up. In and out. Maryland continues to win on the glass. Big reason they're up 7.
Oregon has had some good looks, but they are 0 for 7 from the field here.
It was Maryland who was shooting that way last time they played, and Oregon won. Terrapins inside the arc and beyond, less than 30% that day. Over half today. There's their best three-point shooter, and he's 1 for 1.
A tough game for him against Illinois. Got in some foul trouble, 1 for 5 from 3, but Elijah Saunders, he's coming off that screen, and he is looking to let that fly.
Over 40% Big Ten season, best on this team. Simpkins sets up Evans. They continue to struggle. Sean Stewart shows up. Simpkins' little pull-up. Man, oh man, they can't buy a bucket. It'll come back the other way.
I love the effort, though, from Stewart. That's where he can impact this game. In the top 15 offensive rebounders in the league on the season. There's the Saunders 3 coming off. Kwame Evans just a bit behind. That's what Elijah Saunders wants to do.
So Oregon coming off a very good shooting game, but as we've seen, they start out 0 for 9 here today, and really, it's been a problem for them all season. They're bottom part of the conference in all the ways you'd measure offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where somebody's got to step up here and make an open shot. They've actually generated some quality looks, but early on here, nobody's made any of them.
And they're willing to give Maryland these 3. Saunders just hit 1. Deep that time. Biddle tipped it. He's been averaging 17 and 7 the last 9 games he's been back. Lynn is checked in. Evans lost control but did save it. Wei Lin, nice contribution in the win over Washington. Hit a couple of threes. Time an issue now. Shot clock down to 6. And Lindsey draws the foul. He'll shoot 2. Offense has been tough here for Dana Altman so far on this day, and really this entire season, Robbie. In addition to the injury they talked about with Jackson Shellstad, this has been the toughest part of their season.
It totally has been. You know, just how can they get scoring, especially from the backcourt, and that's why if you're Maryland there, Colin Metcalf, just go up and contest. I mean, Oregon hasn't made a field goal yet. You're sending them to the free throw line. If Des Lindsey goes in there, Paul, and makes a contested floater, you just tip your cap and go play offense.
Des Lindsey only averaging 5 points per game. Little story developing with Maryland. You talked about, Robbie, how they have size inside to match Oregon. Big part of that is Colin Metcalf. He just picked up his 2nd foul. And he sits down.
And look at just kind of how the size goes.
Yeah.
You throw Turkson out there at 6'7", Elijah Saunders at 6'8". And that's trying to check Stewart at 6'9", Evans at 6'10", and Biddle at 7 foot.
Darius Adams wears number 1 for Maryland. The true freshman has just checked in. Coming off what he hopes is a breakout game against Illinois when he hit 14 points. Shot clock now down to 4. Mills, deep 3. Biddle got his hands on it. Still fighting for it. Off of Maryland that time. They point to Oregon.
Boy, that Solomon Washington rebound, especially in this building, that was some shades of a little bit of Dennis Rodman. Just tipping it to keep it alive. I like that.
You've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah, he can really get to the glass. Second in the league in rebounding at over 9 a game.
If he has 4 points and 15 rebounds, it'll be a Rodman kind of stat line at the end of the night, right? Trying to get it inside off the rim. Diggy Coit says thank you very much. Gives it up to Adams. Finds the lane. Biddle got a piece of that one. Led the Big Ten in blocks last year. It'll stay here with the Terps.
And Darius Adams is a fearless driver. He is looking to get downhill. He loves to get to the body. But you're taking on Biddle. If you're going to do that, you better go right through his chest and knock him back.
Adams, 5-star recruit, longtime commit to UConn. April flipped here to the Terrapins. Maryland's been in charge this entire way. 5 to shoot now. Washington to the lane. Missed from point-blank range. Evans rebound.
And Washington's down.
And that's the second best rebounder in the Big Ten. It's 5-on-4 right now. Advantage Oregon. Open three. Nowhere close. There's the whistle. Washington's been down for about 15 seconds. Solomon Washington still down, and the Oregon offense really struck. NBC and Peacock every week in prime time. Looking forward to Warriors versus Knicks Sunday night on NBC and also on Peacock. Top rebounder for Maryland, Solomon Washington, just stayed down on the court. He did get up and was helped off, but here was the play. Took it to the basket, didn't make it, and went down hard and stayed down for a while. For more, here's Nicole.
Yeah, well, I was watching Solomon Washington during that break. He was paying a lot of attention to his right wrist. He was flexing it, trying to test his grip strength. His trainer put some wrap on it and then some tape over it as well to make it a little sturdier, and he's kind of testing it out right now, sitting on the bench.
Hopefully that they can get him back in this game because of just how important he is on the defensive end, and certainly the rebounding numbers speak for themselves. But if you're Oregon and you've got a 5-on-4 and the shot you get is a contested air ball three, I don't think I've ever seen that before. But it's just got to be better execution. Oregon, you get an opportunity like that, you have got to get at least an open shot, probably a layup, but you've got to get an open look.
Kind of thing where they hope they win, but if they win, Diggy Coit knocks down a three. He's got two. If they win, that means they have to look at that play as a team the next time.
Yeah, well, no doubt. But Diggy Coit, that's a big shot for his confidence. He struggled so much with that three. Got his offense going a little bit inside the arc, and now a triple goes down.
And Des Lindsey fouled once again. Second time he's drawn a foul going to the basket.
He can do this. I mean, you're talking about a guy here, Paul. 5 games of 20 or more, 4 of 30 or more, and 2 of 40 plus. He can really score the basketball. So many of those early in his season. It's been a different story here over the last month and a half. But any guy that's put up those types of numbers at this level, anytime, he is capable of finding that rhythm and getting back to it.
And he'll keep shooting whether they are going in or not. That is a volume shooter who is going to get his shots. Meanwhile, Oregon has still yet to make a field goal. Their only points coming from the line. And Maryland's had a nice steady dose of their offense. They've made 3 from distance already.
Well, right now, Paul, Oregon can't let their offensive struggles affect down here. They've got to kind of rely on their defense and just try to stay around and let that offense try to come alive.
Diggy Coit gives it up. They have 2 to shoot. Adams got to get one up, does so. Skying for that rebound. Evans couldn't hang on to it. Mills tracks it down, saves the Coit.
That's a heck of an effort there by George Turkson to just get in there and keep that play alive.
Turkson in for Metcalf, who started, but he does have the 2 fouls. Now 3 to shoot. Adams blocks from behind.
Turkson just so active there on that offensive rebound. And then how about Andre Mills flying in? It's kind of remained the same. I said this early in the game. It looks like Maryland's the team that wants to be out here. And that continues on.
And Maryland's the team that comes in, Robbie, with a 4-game losing streak. And it's Oregon who come in the last 7 games. They've won more than they've lost.
And I guess for Maryland, they've lost 6 of 7, but 3 of those have been close, 4 points or less. So they have been playing better. The Illinois game, they certainly played much better. The officials are going to take a look at something here. I'm not totally sure what.
So they tried to get that shot off as the clock was winding down. I don't believe it hit the rim. It could be shot clock violation. It could be who the ball went off of. Take a look here. Adams to the basket. See the shot clock winding down. Never got to the rim.
0.6, 0.7 it looks like.
So they will have a chance here. A little less than a second left on that shot clock.
Still time to catch and shoot. You have to be aware of the slips for the lobs, but certainly the strong side corner. Place that Maryland can go to, and good to see Solomon Washington back in the game.
He's out for a couple of moments.
He's still kind of flexing that wrist though there, Paul.
Still holding it, yeah. All right, 0.7 seconds to do something here. Got it off.
Well, I mean, Jamari Phillips, you got to go with it. That is so fortunate for the Ducks. It's not like there was a screen there. He just cut to the corner and got a good look.
Oregon's next basket will be their first of the game. 10 minutes gone here in this first half. Spot Lynn hit a couple of these over the weekend. And another rebound to Maryland, another part of this game where they're winning early.
Another possession where Solomon Washington, just activity, takes that away from Kwame Evans.
Mills out of control, got that one up, and fouled on his way to the basket. It's such his own unique combination of kind of frenetic but highly energetic on the way to the basket.
Andre Mills, he's proven that he can shoot it here in this stretch, but he is also a guy that wants to live at the rim. Just get into the basket, and you look at Sean Stewart. He's moving. His feet are also in that restricted arc.
So February 1st, when they played Oregon the first time in College Park, he had 4 points, Robbie. Something clicked on that day because he has been living at 20 or above since.
The fact that he started the last 10 and in that stretch averaged 19 a game. You know, I think an amazing stat is that he's one of 5 freshmen in all of college basketball that's averaged over 20 points a game from February 11th on. And the list is the who's who of freshmen in the country.
In a season that's really defined by freshmen, he hasn't gotten as much attention because Maryland hasn't been winning, but his scoring has been terrific. Got 7 to start here today.
Oregon's just got to move the ball and try to. Early on, they were manufacturing some good looks, and that's kind of dried up here.
A tough shot from Lynn. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Well, the Ducks made their first 7 threes, an amazing stat against Washington over the weekend. It just
save some
goes
of those.
to figure they're 0 for 7 right now from distance. Waylon was a nice part of that.
And he can score. You're talking about a guy that's averaged 20 points a game in a pro league over in China. And certainly the offensive side is not what has held him back. It's been the defensive side of the ball. But if you need a shot of life in your offense, Waylon is a guy that, you know, he's had 23 in a game at Rutgers. He's put up some big numbers, 14 in Nebraska, 15 in Indiana, 13 against Wisconsin. So he is capable.
Last 7 games, knocking down over 40% of his threes. We'll see if he can get it going. Nice job by Coit tracking that one down up to Washington. Both Mills and Coit 7 points apiece to lead the way for Maryland thus far. Mills step back. This will be 3 short. Tip back. Lynn. Finally Stewart got it. There they get it to Biddle. And there is their first basket.
Well, and just a really nice play by Nate Biddle to run the floor, recognize the mismatch, and just start doing your work early. Push that guard right up the floor, and the recognition there by Oregon on point.
Pretty much plug him in for 17 and 7 since he's been back from the foot injuries that kept him out. Coit, 3. Turkson, nice job, didn't go in. Little rebound, but the whistle before that. That'll go against Oregon.
Well, finally, Oregon able to get on the board, and it's Biddle that's running the floor. You got Coit down there. And even though Maryland converges, Nate Biddle able to compose himself, catch the ball, and find an angle to score this thing.
You take a look under the hood at Maryland's season, why they haven't been winning as much, Robbie, and rebounds certainly show up. But it's nearly 2-1 in favor of the Terps today.
But it's also, you know, some of their issues with turnovers. You know, and with the rebounding, all right, if you lose the glass, then you've got to be a team that takes care of the basketball. That's not been the case. 18th in conference play in turnover percentage, averaging over 12 a game. That's good for 17th in the league.
Maryland did steady the ship from mid-February on for a portion of the end of the season. Went 3-3 to end that month, but March has not been the same story. They enter Chicago with 4 consecutive losses. Turkson knocks that down, but they've been in control of Oregon from the start here.
It's also for Maryland, even though they're not a good three-point shooting team, they shoot a lot of threes.
Yes.
And that's been the case again today with 12 of their 20 shots coming from the three-point line. Honestly, Oregon is very fortunate to be down only 11. This could be 25 right now.
Considering they have 1 basket, Lynn lost control, comes back here to Maryland. Maryland, the better shooting team so far. They have a double-digit lead early over Oregon. Tournament brought to you by TIAA. Tomorrow, everyone's favorite night of drama is back with new seasons of Chicago Med, Fire, and PD. Don't miss New Chicago Wednesday tomorrow on NBC and Peacock. It's a little grayer in Chicago today than that shot. It feels more like winter than spring. We are happy to be inside the United Center for the very beginning of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament. 6 out of 20 shooting, Robbie, is not great, but it is much better than 1 for 12.
Yeah, but Maryland 1 for their last 10, and they don't have a field goal in the last 3:26. Oregon, their struggle is well documented. Outside of the free throw line of going 6 for 8, 1 for 12 from the field. So I think the good news is, Paul, that there's only one way to go. We've got to go up from here.
One would think. Nicole, come on in.
Yeah, well, I was listening to Dana Altman during that timeout. He was really trying to fire his guys up. Tell them to be aggressive. Don't turn the ball over, but go after loose balls. And they got to keep taking shots to get back in this thing.
They keep shooting 1 out of 12. Let's see how much they get it inside to the big guys. Biddle and Evans are the ones that normally lead the way.
And that's something that can't compound right there. That was Maryland's first turnover of the game, and it can't turn into second and third ones.
Biddle, he has the only bucket, almost have his second there. Turkson, another rebound for the Terps. Number 17 to go against 10 for Oregon. Mills got to the lane. Normally makes that. The whistle inside will be a call against Maryland.
I like the early take there from Andre Mills. I mean, left-handed player, loves to get to his left hand. He sees Biddle backpedaling, go right at it. I like the play. It's an aggressive drive, but certainly a play that Andre Mills can make.
Foul was against Turkson for Maryland. Inside for the Ducks. Evans checks in looking for his first bucket. And normally Biddle and Evans are good for a little over 30 points apiece on an average outing. So far they just have 2.
Now Maryland going with a little bit of a zone look here to mix things up.
Well, they just have the 1 bucket. They'd actually both been to the free throw line and connected. Simpkins stepped out of bounds to get it back to Maryland.
And I think Maryland kind of confused Oregon. Started 2-3, then matched up, went man-to-man. Right now, the Ducks are looking for any positive momentum offensively.
Man, oh man, Evans does have 2 free throws. Oregon still stuck in single digits under 7 minutes until halftime. Winner of this game plays Iowa, the 9th seed, at 11 a.m. local time tomorrow.
That will be a quick turnaround right there.
For them and for us.
Yeah, for both.
Mills had the quick 7 points, has been quiet since. Solomon Washington, little pull up, not close. Saunders rebound.
Maryland has been impressive on the offensive glass. There's certainly been opportunities. They're 6 of 22 from the field, but they've been flying in there. Oregon's blockouts not nearly good enough.
Shot clock down to 3. Washington, strong move.
Solomon Washington showing off the hops and the hang time there.
Boy, if he added a little more offense to how well he hits the glass. A good looking take right there. Biddle kicks it outside. Evans still hasn't made a bucket. Washington rebound. They've had some really good looks
Now
too.
they have, early on especially. I do it now. That's a wild pass from Washington, but I do appreciate that he understands what he is. He's not out there trying to prove that he can make threes. 9 of 36 on the year. He's a driver. He's an offensive rebounder. He's a slasher.
Foul against Evans as Mills was going to turn the corner there.
Andre Perry Mills just pick and pop, and it's Solomon Washington not taking a wide open three, but getting to the basket. Sean Stewart with the verticality, but the athleticism on display by Washington. He hangs up there, and he finishes right over the top.
Yeah, the freshman Adams checks back in. I had Washington against the Washington Huskies in College Park a couple weeks ago. Third consecutive game that he had 11 points and 14 rebounds.
Yeah, no, he can really rebound the ball.
A 13-point lead for the Terps. Coit hit a couple of buckets already. Normally not his game.
See, I just said he wasn't trying to
It didn't hit the rim.
Oh,
in and out. Biddle with a rebound. Might have just nicked the rim. Stewart. And a little tip in from Biddle.
Anything at the rim for Oregon has been a struggle in this game. They have missed so many bunnies, but Biddle able to clean that one up.
Yeah, Washington earlier this season against Oregon had a double-double at 17 and 12. Coit has cooled off recently, thinking about the shot now with the clock down to 5. Got Biddle on him, takes him to the lane, hits him with a runner.
Boy, that was nice, and that's a move that Coit loves. He loves that step back, but if you're trying to play him for the jumper, it'll be the step back, hesitate, and put it on the floor and go.
Coit with a game-high 9 points. Meanwhile, Biddle is the only one who's hit a bucket for the Ducks so far.
Good help there from Washington, just building a wall.
From the backside, blocked by Washington. Boy, Maryland has brought it and bettered Oregon really in every single category so far. Adams, more Washington. Couple of fakes got that done.
Oh, a fantastic cut there. You touch the paint, you've got the back cut from Washington, jump stop, shot fake, just fundamental basketball. And the Terps, they showed some signs of life late in the season. First is Diggy Coit. Little hesitate and go, get to that floater right over the top of Biddle. And then touch the paint again, and now you're making a play for a cutter. Coit throwing it up, and he's getting to that floater.
Halftime report. We're joined in studio by Jordan Cornette and Matt McCall. We're going to show you what's made Oregon struggle. Over 11 minutes before the Ducks finally got a field goal. Plus, we're going to show you the Big Ten bracket, who can make a run this week and beyond. Paul and Robbie, we'll see you soon.
Hey, Jack, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you here in just a little bit. Buzz Williams' 19th season as a college head coach. And, Robbie, this is not the norm at all for him to have 11.
And the injury to Pharrell Payne that's a tough thing to overcome. And certainly when you take a job in year one and you're trying to build your roster, it's not an easy thing. This year he's set, he can get to the portal and certainly try to build on what has kind of been year one here in College Park.
Took A&M to the tournament his last 3 seasons there. Same can be said for his last 3 seasons at Virginia Tech. There's a fixture there at Marquette as well, so he'll look to get this turned around. 2 seconds to shoot. Phillips, baseline pull-up.
There's just not much offensive action there, especially coming out of a timeout. It ends up being a Jamari Phillips pull-up jumper, and that's a guy who 84% of his shots on the year have come from 3. Don't see him take many 2s.
Maryland's had pretty good patience here. They've often taken the shot clock inside of 10, just like they do here. Diggy Coit, game-high 9 points. That's from way back, and he's the first to double figures today.
The space he creates there with Drew Carter guarding him, a real electricity there with Diggy Coit. That step back, he creates a good 3 or 4 feet and lets it fly.
7-0 run now for Maryland. Lindsey got in close, but now he's stuck. Evans swatted away, back to Carter. Oregon's 2 for 18, make it 2 out of 19. Another rebound, Maryland. It wasn't supposed to be a repeat of last year where they won 27 games, made it to the Sweet 16. They're trying to find a little something here after a difficult season in March. Saunders hit one of those, make it 2.
And a good pin down there. Pinning in your best three-point shooter, Elijah Saunders. You've got to locate him on the perimeter.
Biddle, that's been their entire offense so far.
Just whenever they've been able to throw it in, and he's been able to push his defender up the lane. I just want to see some fight here from Oregon. You know, that's a good way to start, getting a turnover.
Bucket to turnover. Back out to Phillips for 3. They still cannot connect there. Rebound, Washington.
They are now 0 for 9 from the three-point line. And 3 of 21 from the field.
Incredible. And I bet if we could dip inside the Oregon huddle, it would be a similar message. At some point, any coach is going to be like, forget about the score.
Yeah, just play hard.
I just want to see
go
you
out there and compete. Absolutely. Well, Maryland has found the rhythm again. They've made their last 4 shots. This guy a big part of it. Diggy Coit stepping it back and letting it fly. And the Terps getting their best shooter, Elijah Saunders, going. He's cashing out from 3.
About to have a wicked, weird senior year. Stream the new season of Ted now only on Peacock. Maryland has not trailed today. They lead 31-12. Biddle has made 3 shots for Oregon. The rest of the Ducks are 0 for 18 so far. Diggy Coit's been the top scorer. He's with the ball right now.
Now Oregon coming out, little matchup 2-3 zone.
Why not? Not close. Evans rebound.
A good change up there by Dana Altman, just to throw that wrinkle out there and take Maryland out of balance.
Phillips quickly to the lane, back out for a 3. Still haven't hit one of those. Adams rebound. Buzz Williams says slow it down. Keep it for one last shot, already with their largest lead. 2 takes him up to 20. Inside of 10 seconds now. Adams fouled by Biddle.
But if you're Biddle, you've got to understand who you're guarding. Darius Adams is shooting 21% from 3 in league play, 25 on the year, and you're closing out to him like it's Ray Allen coming off the pin down. you just, I get you've got fouls to give, but you've got to have an understanding of who is on the floor.
Inside of 5 seconds till halftime.
Good slip.
Boy, what to Washington, and what a finish to the half for Maryland. 21-point lead.
Dana Altman is beside himself with that last defensive possession. You're worried about Coit, but you can't just totally ignore the screener. Washington reads that perfectly, sets the screen, slips to the rim, and that kind of sums up just how Oregon's first half went.
12-2 run to end the half in favor of Maryland. Let's check in with Nicole.
Coach, that was the best start to a Big Ten tournament game in Maryland history. Seemed like everything was working offensively and defensively. They only have 3 field goals in the first bucket with 8:45 left in the first half. What did you see and what were you happiest with?
Well, we at least have a chance like any other team if we don't turn the ball over. We played with a low turnover rate except for the block shots. And then we did a really good job for a long stretch of time not allowing them to have offensive rebounds. And so from a possession standpoint, if they only get 1 shot and when you have the ball you don't give it to them, you have a chance. And that's been our problem in many respects throughout the season. So for us to do it the first 100 minutes, we're thankful. We just need to do it 1 more half.
There was an emphatic dunk there at the end, but otherwise the bench did get most excited about those rebounds. What do you want to see to get the win in the second half?
Well, I think we've done a good job on the offensive glass. The reason I think we've done a good job is we haven't turned it over. but I think the shots that we have taken have been predictable. We haven't shot what we would call bad or average shots. We've taken more great and perfect. We're not going to make a lot of any category, but if we shoot great or perfect, it probably means the defense is in rotation and we have a chance to get a rebound.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Fitting, and the last word he said was rebound, because Maryland out-rebounding Oregon nearly 2-1. Coming up in the Liberty Mutual Insurance Halftime Report, Jack Collinsworth, Jordan Cornette, and Matt McCart. We are in Chicago, where the Big Ten will crown a conference champion on Sunday. Right now, it's the very first game of the Big Ten tournament, and it has been all Maryland. They're up 21 as halftime comes to a close. We welcome you back inside the United Center for the Big Ten men's basketball tournament presented by TIAA. Thank you for coming back with us. Paul Burmeister alongside Robbie Hummel. Maryland, as the score would indicate, has won in every single category so far. What has stood out to you?
Well, I think just the effort and enthusiasm that Maryland came out with, right? Like the way that they came out and played. A lot of times in situations like this, it's who wants to be here. And I give a lot of credit to Diggy Coy. You know, 4 of his last 6 games, he's been in single digits, hasn't had the scoring that we saw early in the season, but he's been aggressive here in this one. Just 2 of 8 from 3, but he's gotten it going from inside the arc. He is 5 of 11 from the field in this game, has 12 points. He's been assertive. For Oregon, the three-point shooting has been abysmal. 0 for 10 from the three-point line. Nate Biddle has been kind of the lone bright spot. He's got 6 points, 3 of 7 from the field. He's been able to push his man up the lane, but just the missed jump shots, the missed shots in total. Everybody else outside of Biddle, 0 for 15 from the field. That is an insane stat.
Take a look at the Liberty key to the game, and we could do this for 20 more years, Robbie, and might not ever come across a stat like this where it's halftime and a Maryland player has 12 points and the Oregon team has 12 points. Dana Altman is Oregon's head coach, and Nicole talked with him. Nicole.
Yeah, he was frustrated, as you would expect, with all the stats you guys just went through. He brought up that 0 for line from three-point. That's been a problem. He felt like they had 7 or 8 good looks, but they just could not make them. They got to hit shots. They got killed on the board. He just said that he was really disappointed that Maryland is playing so much harder than Oregon did in the first half. The energy level went down, felt like they were stuck in the mud. They got to get the ball to Nate Biddle, as you guys pointed out, because Dana told me he's the only guy who scored.
Well, they started out well here, Nicole. Biddle just hit a 3. The defense came through and they got the ball back, so they're still ways behind, but a good start.
I'm sure that Dana Altman had these guys' attention at halftime. And you know what? A good start. Biddle makes an open 3, and then you get your press there, get a little bit of energy and life in your ball club.
Kicked by Mills. It will stay here with Oregon. You can just hear Dana giving some kind of version of, okay, who wants to compete?
Yeah, and who wants to be here in the second half? And we're going to find out really quickly if Oregon does.
So Biddle hit the 3. That was, by the way, their first 3 they've hit this entire game. They're 1 for 11 as a team. Biddle's got 9 points. And maybe 2 more. Good swat there. It was knocked away by Saunders, but they'll give him the basket. Goaltending.
Boy, that was close from the backside. That looked like Metcalf might have got that thing before the board.
Goaltender, right? Goaltender.
And Buzz was given the signal to challenge. You're right, that was Metcalf. And since it was called, they can take a look at it. And I believe Buzz Williams has challenged that.
Yeah, I think he got that before the glass.
Called goaltending in live action. It's been challenged, just underway in the second half in Chicago. Scheffler and the strongest field in golf at TPC Sawgrass. The Players Championship, 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday and Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Second half just underway. First Big Ten tournament game. Maryland has been in control from the start. All 3 officials taking at the call that we just saw before the break. Colin Metcalf with the block that was called goaltending in live action. And take a look here, Robbie. This could be overturned.
Yeah, they're taking a long look at it, but I think Metcalf has been a guy that's been an active shot blocker here. 6 blocks in the last 3 games, and I think he takes that to the board from that angle. That's what that looks like.
And Metcalf, who did not start against Oregon the first time they played, inserted in the middle to deal with the size of the Ducks and has been a part of the success story so far for the Terrapins. Now, Oregon did make a bucket in the first 11 minutes of this game. Maryland built that lead. And they have been cruising since, although the Ducks off to a good start here in this half. Biddle hit a three. That was their first of the game. And we'll get the explanation now.
So the call is overturned. It's a clean block, and because there was no possession, it's alternating possession. So I believe it'll be Maryland basketball.
Okay, so Maryland gets it back. Had the 10-second violation last time.
And take the basket off. So yeah, Oregon back to 15.
As Robbie pointed out, top of the half here, the leading scorer for Maryland in that first half, Diggy Coit, 12 points.
Oregon really aggressive. Well done by Coit to look up the floor. That first possession, too much dribbling in the backcourt, and Coit not messing around. He just throws that thing ahead.
Diggy Coit's a player that can go off, had 43 against Penn State earlier this year. Mills has been their leading scorer in the last month. Freshman averaging 23 of the last 6. Shot clock down to 3. Coit, fadeaway 3.
Oh, man. You cannot defend that any better for Oregon. What a shot by Diggy Coit.
Stewart with his first bucket.
That's off a made basket. Oregon really pushing there. That's an area that Maryland struggled in. They have not been good on the season with their transition defense. Got to get back off a make.
Boy, if Stewart, when he can help Evans and Biddle inside with the scoring, they are a much different team.
Well, and over the last 3 games, Paul, only 3 points a game. And scoring has just not been there.
Mills, not close, and a rebound to Evans. He's got Simpkins, Biddle. Simpkins almost with the rebound.
Man, you got Metcalf just flying back into that play.
He has been playing inside. That's a foul against Lynn.
Another missed layup, though, by the Oregon Ducks, and that leads the other way. Diggy Coit, these count right here. Sean Stewart, you tip your cap. You cannot guard that any better. It's just a big-time shot. And this has got to be 2 for Biddle. You've got to take this up there. I know that ankle injury has kind of limited some of the mobility, but that's got to be a made bucket there.
Well, Metcalf has been averaging almost 8 rebounds the last 8 games, and he's been showing up. Saunders, third 3 of his game.
Well, they have not had the answer for him, pinning him in out there at the 3-point line. What a swing. Another missed layup. Oregon 2 of 9 on layups here today. And you get that made 3, and it's a 5-point swing.
Lynn 3, and he's got it. Hit 2 in their last regular season game.
They're going to need somebody to step up. Biddle with 9, and nobody else with any more than 5, and that is Waylon.
They've come out with that press, and that they got him with a 10-second call early, but the last couple of times there has provided very little resistance. Maryland had that lead up over 20 late in the first half. Routinely running the shot clock inside at 10. Now they have 4 to shoot. Coit, one-hand scoop, got it.
Wise to go right at Lynn, but Wei Lin comes up. Looks like he injured his ankle there.
Whistle blown because Wei Lin is hobbling off the court. Drew Carter will check back in. Coit having himself an outing from distance and from taking it to the hoop. Waylon making his way to the end of the Oregon bench.
Just going to the locker room there, Paul.
He's going to keep going. And he stopped on his way there. Can't make it all the way. Ball will stay right here. Simpkins Up, blocked by Mills, but got him for the foul.
Think about for the Oregon in their win against Washington, you're getting contribution scoring from Drew Carter and Takai Simpkins and Des Lindsey and even Wei Lin with 7. And it's just been, there haven't been any of that in this game alongside Biddle's 9.
And we talked about how much different they are when they get help from the outside, that they expect the guys in the middle to lead the way. They've struggled, and the guards have struggled even more. Simpkins got that bounce.
Think about just the missed layups, you know, and that's kind of been an issue on the year. You look at a lot of these guys, even the Sean Stewart, Kwame Evans, Takai Simpkins, they're not shooting great percentages around the rim, and we have seen that full on in this game.
Simpkins hits them both. Lead now just inside of 20 points. The Terps have had it up to 22. That's their largest lead yet. Coit once again handling the pressure.
And a good aggressive play. Right? You're not messing around with that. You're just speed dribbling up the floor and putting Oregon back on their heels.
Nothing tentative about that one. And he's easily got a game high 17 points.
Oh, what a hesitation.
Got it taken away by Carter. Former quarterback at Colorado lays it off for Simpkins. And he'll shoot 2.
Well, give Carter credit there. Kind of burned off the move, but he didn't quit on the play. Got back into it, and as Coit jump stop and pivoted, you've got Carter with the active hands, and he gets a piece of that thing, and it's going the other way for the Ducks.
First foul against Washington. He thought he had all ball, but Simpkins will go right back to the line. Just nailed a couple from there.
When Oregon wins, Takai Simpkins, at least in conference play, you look at his numbers, and there is a stark difference. In wins, 17 and 4 rebounds, 51 from the field, 50 from 3. In losses, it's just 11 and 2, and 37 from the field, 26 from 3. So he's kind of been a big swing guy. And I know that the wins haven't exactly piled up in league play, but they've had success. He has had good games.
Gives him 4 points. His assist to turnover, by the way, coming into this game, the last 3, been 11-1. Having a hard time getting it in. They just get it to Saunders, double teamed. And no trouble for Mills from there, who has been struggling shooting the ball, just 2 out of 9 today. Draws the foul against Evans on the way to the basket.
Kwame Evans can't get turned down there. All your help is with the ball screen to the middle of the floor. And it's a wise play by Andre Mills to exploit that and try to take you baseline. But if you're the defender there, you are sending him to the screen.
Second foul called against Evans. Only has a couple of points. He had 20 in their last game in the win over Washington.
He's been pretty consistent here with 6 straight in double figures.
Coit, step back 3.
His step back is nasty. He creates a lot of space with that thing.
And it's a jump shot from there, too.
No doubt.
Carter to Biddle, easily been their best offense. Simpkins back up to Lindsey.
Pretty good rotation there by the Terps. Post trap, and they rotate out.
Biddle air ball. Turned into a pass inside Evans. He's got a chance to make it 3. Oregon trying to chip away at this lead, which Maryland has had the entire game. The Big Ten basketball tournament is brought to you by Discover, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference, and by PetSmart, anything for pets. Boy, Oregon shot the ball so poorly in that first half. In fact, nobody but Nate Biddle made a bucket for the Ducks. Trailed by as many as 22. They're cut into that lead right now, Robbie, and they're shooting it quite a bit better.
And showing some signs of life here. Certainly a more spirited effort here in the second half. And it always helps, Paul, when the ball goes in the basket. They are 4 of 8 from the field and knocked down a pair of threes. But the fact that this is only a 15-point game, it seems like an impossible thing to say, but they still very much so are in this ball game.
Kwame Evans completes the 3-point play. Nice junior year he's had. little more than doubling his average from his sophomore season. I haven't said this, so I want to make sure I get it in. Oregon on a 7-0 run, Robbie.
That's right. And it seemed like it could be impossible with the way the first half went, but
right.
they have certainly had a response coming out of the break here.
Adams determined to get that shot up, a late whistle. And it's called against Evans.
Well, he had jump stopped and used the shot fake to get these shot blockers off their feet. Boy, but it looks like I thought Kwame Evans kind of whiffed on him there.
So that's 3 fouls against Evans.
That's fortunate there for Darius Adams.
And so Stewart's going to come in. Got to be for Evans. Yes, it is. See how long he sits with those 3 fouls. And let's see what they get offensively from Stewart. Has 1 dunk today, but not much else. And any kind of assist he can give to Biddle inside would be a big win for their attempted comeback. Freshman knocks him down.
When you think about it, two of the real supplementary scorers in this game. Evans with 5, Wei Lin with 5. Now one with foul trouble and the other on the bench with an injury.
Turnover has not been an issue. Of all the problems Oregon has had today, that hasn't been one. Just their 4th of the day. Get it back out to Coit. That's been the main offense so far. Time an issue now, down to 5. Coit, Washington, good defense. Drew Carter's got it.
Oh, what a muscle play.
Nice job by Washington, but right to Biddle.
And it's one of those 50-50 balls, and in the first half, that would have definitely went the way of Maryland, the way things are going. But there, Oregon opportunistic, and even though Solomon Washington gets a hand on that thing, Nate Biddle able to corral it and clean the play up.
Biddle now 17 consecutive games in double figures. Lead down to 14. Adams. 4 to shoot. Coit, step back 3, not close.
And Maryland is being methodical there. Every possession, they are taking that clock down.
Lindsay accelerates and got it.
This looks like a different team from the first half. I mean, just with the energy level they're playing with, and we are down to a 12-point game. Oregon with an 11-2 run over the last 3-16.
And that's how you go to work on a 22-point deficit.
Well, Maryland hasn't scored in almost 3:30. Des Lindsay, opportunistic, has that space, sees the open floor, and don't look now, but Oregon's got some momentum here.
To end the Big Ten regular season, but they have shown up here in the second half, playing much better than they did the first 20 minutes.
Well, I'd love to have heard Dana Altman's halftime speech. It had to be something to see right there, but Oregon has definitely brought it here. 6 of 10 from the field in the second half. Knocked down 2 triples. They are dealing with some foul trouble and also the injury to Wei Lin. So those are 2 things to monitor. But for the first time all day, Oregon has some positive momentum.
Yeah, Maryland with those 4 consecutive losses. They won the first half, but Oregon has won the second half here. Trying to get back to what they showed over the weekend in the win against Washington. Shot clock to 1. Rainbow of a 3-point attempt. Shot clock violation.
Boy, good corral there by Nate Biddle. Understanding with the shot clock that Diggy Coit is not going to look to pass that. It's got to go up. He came off that screen and he just stayed right there with him.
Oregon is piling up stops here.
Yeah, they are. And Maryland, you almost wonder, it's like they're almost in a stall ball-like offense. You've got to probably go a little bit earlier here. Way too much time to clock this thing.
Biddle's their 1 player in double figures. He's got 11. Simpkins kicks it out. This will be 3. Tip back. Washington at his hands on it. The foul against Stewart. Green. 2 fouls against Stewart. I have Evans on the bench with 3 fouls. Lynn comes back in. Carter checks out. They also bring Phillips back into the game. Oregon's been going with this pressure the entirety of the second half. This time they've got Mills in trouble. Finds Saunders up to Washington.
I almost wonder for Maryland, if you can break it, when you look to break it to score, you know, that's an aggressive take, and you put finally some early pressure on Oregon's defense. But you want to make them pay. If they're going to press you with 12:30 to go, if you can be opportunistic and find an advantage, and I think Maryland should look for it.
Metcalf with that tip in, lead back up to 14.
Good to see Wei Lin back in the game, and you just got the miscommunication. Lin screening away and Biddle throwing him the ball.
5th turnover of the game.
Come on now, let's go, Yellow.
And the last couple of moments, this momentum that Dana Altman has fought to get back for the Ducks, leaning back toward the Terps. Maryland led by 21 at halftime. Built that lead up to 22 points, but the Ducks started out by making over half their shots here in this half. Got to think about the clock now. Shot clock down to 3. Mills has been quiet. Little pull up. Chance to make it 3.
What a response from Maryland here, because Oregon had found their way, and just like that, the Terps, they push this thing right back out to 16. Shot clock is getting low here. How about Andre Mills just going and making a tough one? Des Lindsey gets back up underneath. Opportunity for 3 on the other side.
Welcome back to men's Big Ten basketball tournament presented by TIAA. We are just underway. Look at all this Big Ten basketball to come. Oregon, Maryland kicking it off. We'll also have Northwestern and Penn State later this evening. Either the Ducks or the Terrapins will win the right to take on 9th-seeded Iowa tomorrow. That's at 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll also be here for that. It's fun to look at a bracket, know that all of this is still to come.
Absolutely. I think about, whether it's as a kid or even in college, of the excitement of getting to watch basketball starting at 11 a.m. and going all the way to midnight Eastern. And there is plenty of good hoops on, and it's one of the real thrills, I think, of not just the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, but also for these conference championships.
I used to create my own bracket on winter break and play games with just one person. Now, my favorite team would normally win.
That's right. How many would you make?
How many brackets?
Yeah, would you do just one, or would you?
It'd usually be 16 teams.
All right.
Just play abbreviated games. So I was tired of those 2 teams. Move my favorite one on. It was
That's
great.
right.
Mills completes a 3-point play. And the second half, Robbie, has been mostly Oregon, but Maryland has stopped the bleeding recently.
Real response here by the Maryland Terrapins. Now we'll see if Oregon has some juice to kind of push back here.
Oregon had pulled it within 12, but the Terps on a 5-0 run. Adams with a chance to make it more. He's got Washington trailing.
Smart by Washington to just pull that back out. Now look what you get.
Well, Saunders has been excellent. He's made 4 of those today.
That's such a mature play by Solomon Washington. Not trying to do something crazy. That lob pass wild. But you catch it, you come down with it. The initial surge, it brings every part of that defense with you to the baseline. And he makes the play for Elijah Saunders. Great play by Washington.
Talked to Buzz Williams late February before a game talking about Solomon Washington. He had him for 3 years at Texas A&M. He said he is one of the smartest players on the court I've ever been around, and love that maturity right there.
Saunders has had himself a day here shooting the basketball. He has been unconscious from the 3-point line. All 5 of his shots from the perimeter. He's knocked down 4 of them. But he's been shooting this thing. You know, I know it wasn't his best against Illinois, but the 4 prior, he'd really shot it well. Last 5 games, 44% from 3.
Yeah, Big Ten Conference, Robbie, he's pretty easily their best 3-point shooter, 42% coming in. And as you pointed out, made 4 out of 5 today.
Well, it's something he's worked on. You know, his first 3 years of his college career, only a combined 32% from 3. So by far this season, his best shooting year of his college career.
Oregon has had back-to-back turnovers after they weren't shooting it well, but they were hanging on to it well. Middle double team. Phillips opens up. And they've been getting those looks. Saunders rebound.
They have had open threes and just not been able to dial up the range.
Right now, 2 out of 15 from distance. Maryland threatened a little bit there early in this half. Got the cushion back up to 20. Mills has been the facilitator most of the day. Adams in and out on the 3. Biddle rebound. Carter inside to Stewart, immediately double team. Now they try Biddle. Had the ball knocked away. It'll stay here with 17 to shoot. Biddle, a throwback, 5th year in the same program. He's from the state of Oregon. This is his 116th college game. Everyone is a Duck. Evans in with those 3 fouls, and he'll go to the line.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Biddle coming back, right? You see it so often now where guys get an injury, and it's one of those things where you can come back and play, but you know, some guys choose not to. But Nate Biddle has a lot built into this program. He's an Oregon kid. And certainly the sweat equity, some of the adversity he's faced with injury and illness, and it's just good to see him finishing his career healthy here.
For more on Biddle, here's Nicole.
Yeah, I got to talk to Nate this week, and he said he's going to be sad, you know, when he takes off that jersey for the last time. But he's so grateful for those 5 years in Eugene, close to home, parents, grandparents, cousins, friends, everyone's come to games. And he talked really about the relationship he has with the coaching staff by being there for the entirety of his career. He knows how Coach Altman wants to play. He knows how to lead this team, and that's what he's going to remember about this tenure there.
He's got a feeling as an in-state kid playing for that program for a long time. You and I have had taken off the jersey for the last time.
And he's got a home.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He can always go back to Oregon.
Mills kicks it out to the corner. One more. Boy, is he having a day.
I mean, Elijah Saunders is shooting these threes like they're 2-footers. He has got this thing on automatic right now, and that's Maryland. You get a bit of a gamble, but you're not just breaking that press to break it. You are breaking it to score.
He's made 5 out of 6. Oregon's made only 2. That's a strong move inside from Stewart.
That's where Stewart can be at his best, using his athleticism and that length and just being a slasher.
3rd program in 3 years, started out at Duke, started for Ohio State last year, and now has been a starter for most of this year at Oregon. Mills back to Washington.
An empty side pick and roll. It is hard to deal with there. And Washington, another wise play to jump stop, let everybody clear out, and then go up and hang on rims.
Does that offense look more patient today than it has in recent games?
I just think Maryland has certainly taken time off the clock, and right now they're getting whatever they want.
Evans getting closer. Another rebound, Washington.
It has been a brutal game for the Ducks at the basket. They just have not been able to convert. 5 of 14 on layups on the day.
And Robbie, Maryland's been getting those boards too. Right now they're plus 10. Haven't said that about this team at this point of the game very often.
No, and on top of that, you know, you look at just the size that Oregon can throw out there with Stewart, Evans, and Biddle, and that's getting it done today.
Shot clock to 2. Adams step back. More patience and another bucket.
Just an impressive response here. You know, Maryland, they were tested, and Oregon made their run, and Maryland has punched right back.
Largest lead at 24. Carter pull up. Another rebound, this one to Mills. Happy to walk this one up the court. Mills came out firing. Had 30 over the weekend against Illinois. Had the quick 7 points, but now just with 10. He has been the patient quarterback most of this afternoon.
But there is Adams wide open. Drew Carter's on the other side of the floor.
Evans rebound. If there's going to be another push from the Ducks, they need to get it going now. Inside of 10 minutes left in this game, and the deficit 24. Biddle, that's an easy 2.
He has been the offense for Oregon.
He's got 13 points. No one else really flirting with a double-figure game so far. Meanwhile, Maryland's got 3 above 10. Mills, Coit, and Saunders. To shoot. Back to Washington. He was thinking about another dunk.
Sizing it up.
Evans Draws the foul against Mills.
Not many miscues for the Terps here. They've made 6 of their last 8. Elijah Saunders, have yourself a day shooting the basketball. 5 of 6 from 3 from downtown. Solomon Washington in the role here, going up and getting Kwame Evans. And then it's also Darius Adams in the mid-range. It is all Terps here.
Coming into evening here in Chicago. Game 1 of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament has been all Maryland. They have not trailed this entire day. Oregon did come back and cut that lead to 12 early in the second half, but the Terps had a terrific response. And now leading once again by over 20. They have 3 in double figures. Led by Diggy Coit. You see Mills there on the bench now. He has 4 fouls to go along with his 10 points.
Maryland's got to keep doing the job on the glass. So far today, they've won that aspect of this game. But shots go up with the bigger Ducks lineup. It's got to be a collective all 5.
That's excellent hustle there by Isaiah Watts to save that. Also winning in the paint. They got hammered in the paint on Sunday against Illinois. More than 2-1, and they're winning that part of the game so far.
They got hammered in the paint in the first meeting.
Yeah.
Back in January, 32-12.
Watts in and out. Metcalf had his hands on it, and it's back to Lindsay. Metcalf has been a strong presence inside, getting the start here. Biddle, normally doesn't lose that. Chance to make it 3.
Honestly, Paul, Oregon's best offense today has been the Nate Biddle rim run. And then they've just been able to, whether he seals his man up the lane or in this case, you get some dribble penetration. Saunders gets caught helping uphill, and you do that on the 7-footer. He's going to get that and more at the line.
Metcalf has 4 fouls now. See if he's looking over the bench. Stays in as Biddle completes the 3-point play. 17 consecutive double-figure games for him. Lead back inside at 20. Freshman's in trouble. Off of him.
I like Oregon ramping the pressure up. What do you have to lose with 6:45 here? You're down 19, and that's if you're Maryland. You cannot, if you're Darius Adams, catch this in the coffin corner. It's a good trap by both Kwame Evans and Takai Simpkins, and force a turnover, and now this offense has got to come alive.
Second time the pressure, full court pressure, has led to turnover in this half. Got him for 10 seconds earlier. Up and in. That's a strong drive for Simpkins. That time, no issues. Almost.
Don't speak too soon there, Paul.
I hexed it.
You got to get both feet and the ball across, and that was about to the line, but not quite.
Oregon on a 7-0 run. Metcalf double team. Back out. Deep on the 3. Saunders rebound.
That's the guy you want shooting it from 3.
Right.
Darius Adams has struggled so much with that perimeter jumper.
Coit with 17 points. He had 7 consecutive of not reaching his average of 14. Kick it to the corner. Adams tries again. That time short. Just checking into the game, Kozisti. That's his first rebound. Last 7 points scored by the Ducks. Lindsay had it rejected by Saunders, and he'll go to the line.
Both Simpkins and Lindsay are making a concerted effort to drive the ball and put pressure on Maryland's defense. And the dribble contain just hasn't been nearly as good these last 3 or 4 minutes for Maryland.
First foul against Saunders. He thought he had a clean one there. The day he has had shooting, he's made 5 out of 6 3-pointers to lead the way from beyond the arc for Maryland. Lindsay makes the first. Make it the last 8 points to Oregon. Metcalf checks out with those 4 fouls. Adams goes out as well. Lindsay had only 2 against Maryland in their first meeting. That gives him 6. And Mills has checked in for Maryland with the 4 fouls. Also for the first time, Guillermo Del Pino on the court for Maryland.
Kind of an interesting time to enter the game for the first time here, Paul.
Right?
It's
Sitting
not
on the bench.
like, I mean, it's 15. Like that's. I guess with foul trouble, you got Mills with 4, but.
Neither was the call.
call on the court was the ball was off of Oregon. And they're looking at the shot clock.
Well, okay, but John can't see either then.
You good? You good?
Let's go, Yellow.
16th season as the Oregon head coach, 20 wins every single year until this one. Come into the game at 12 and 19.
It's going to be 25 on the shot clock.
Should be 25 on the shot clock. Heard the voice of official Kelly Pfeiffer yelling that across the court. He's now explaining to Buzz Williams.
There's a lot going on here. He's going to call timeout to reset, I believe, to get his first 10.
Buzz Williams did call the timeout. So Maryland, even though they lost over the weekend against number 9 Illinois, their compete level and how they kept that game close the entire way was really a good indication of how they'd show up here today.
Yeah, you know, you make 9 threes for a team that takes a lot, doesn't always make a lot of them, but just, you're right, the competitive spirit they showed against a top 15 opponent in Illinois. And honestly, you know, last 7 games, they've lost 6, but 3 of those losses have been fairly close, 4 points or less. So impressive to come out here today and kind of punch Oregon in the mouth. And they've been the hungrier team. Now they just have to finish it off with 5:37 to go.
Winner plays tomorrow morning against 9th seeded Iowa. Oregon came in the last 7 games having won more than they lost, but it has been a battle for Dana Altman and his squad this entire way. Didn't make a field goal in the first 10 minutes of this game, and that's really a hole they've been trying to dig out of the rest of the time.
Well, with that timeout called here, Paul, it's now a fresh 10 seconds. So they can go till the 15 mark on the shot clock before that 10-second violation would occur.
Well, Maryland on their heels a little bit here recently. You know, that comfortable lead of 15. Oregon has scored the last 9 points. Mills with a season high 5 assists right now. Shot clock down to 5. Step through. Had a good look
What
at
an
it.
effort, though.
And that's off of Diggy Coit. Oregon will have a chance to add to this run.
Well, a 9-0 run over the last almost 3 minutes does put Oregon back in striking distance here. Can you put a little bit of game pressure on Maryland?
Best offense has been inside the Biddle. There's Evans for 3. Got it. Oregon on a 12-0 run.
A little roll and replace, and Kwame Evans gets it going from the 3-point line.
Delpino in trouble.
Boy.
Turnover. Simpkins had it taken away. Defense from Coit. Up ahead to Washington. Hammers it down.
What a massive 4-point swing. All just by the active hands of Diggy Coit. That was going to be a layup, and instead it's a dunk for the Terps.
Great point. He's going to get a lot of credit for the 17 points, but the defense right there did it. Evans working and 1.
Well, we start with Diggy Coit here. It's the turnover, but his active hands gets a piece of that thing, looks up the floor. Solomon Washington finishes it off. And then just the urgency here from Oregon, you know, Paul, you wish that the Ducks had shown this from the jump, because they are, you know, showing some signs of life here in the second half.
The assists for Mills and Coit showing up. They have a combined 8. Evans completes the 3-point play. Stewart checks in. Evans will take a seat.
Evans is a monster at the front of that press. At 6'10", with the way he moves and the wingspan, that's not a fun place to be, catching that first pass right there in the corner.
Oregon being within 11 is a story here in the second half. Break the press pretty easily. Coit will pull it back out, as they've done much of this afternoon. Happy to work that time off the shot clock. Maryland has had multiple leads of north of 20 points so far. Adams with the shot clock down to 7. Good spin move. Had it blocked by Stewart, but he was fouled.
that's where he's at his best. When he can kind of grind you and he'll wheel and deal with that spin. A physical driver at 6'5". He will seek out that contact. Good play by the freshman there.
And Maryland's record is not what they want, but you can be excited about the future. Mills is a freshman. Guy at the line right now, Adams, is a freshman. Those Williams can keep them right where they are.
Yeah. Well, you just got to retain it, right? That's the thing about freshmen now. We're going to see it in game 2. Penn State has gone all in on recruiting younger players, but I guess the question for any program that does that is, can you keep those guys? And hopefully for Maryland and Penn State, they do retain.
Missed the chance to grow the lead there. Missed the first. Knocks down the second. 12-point lead here as we approach the 4-minute mark.
I like the pressure from Maryland just to change it up here, take a little time off the clock.
Simpkins accelerates, rejected by Metcalf.
It was Metcalf and Solomon Washington right there at the summit.
Metcalf has shown up a lot in the paint. You pointed out right away when we rolled out the starting lineups that he was in there to combat the size of Oregon.
He's shown to be a really good rim protector. He can go up there and get you, whether it's blocks or even just altering shots around the rim.
Shot clock down to 1. Tough from Adams, nowhere near. They did take the time off the clock. Phillips, watch out from the backside. Washington almost swiped that one away.
It's like Jose Alvarado in the NBA. Just waiting in the weeds back there.
Simpkins to the baseline. Cut off. Phillips, they can use this. Got it.
But the relocation there, you've got Jamari Phillips, who is out there to do just that. He gets to that corner and gets in the vision of the passer.
Oregon within single digits now. Inside of 3 minutes, a long way to go, but they've come a long way on an 18-3 run.
Maryland has just been content to clock this, and now you're just going to have to depend on your guards to make things happen and make plays.
Coit trying to do that. Little fade away. Washington with a putback.
And you get the stop, but you don't have the block out there from Phillips. And if you're guarding Solomon Washington, it's a non-negotiable to check him out.
And right away, Evans with a response.
It's amazing how hard offense felt for Oregon in the first half, and they are scoring at will right now.
They've spent a lot of this game down by 20 or more. We're close to the 2-minute mark, and they're down 9.
There's drive down there for Madison.
Yep, ready, getting warmed up, and all of a sudden we're seeing a semblance of a game. 9 points is still quite a bit, but this is the closest it's been since it was 17-8 in the first half. Maryland has led the entire way, and as you can see, Oregon has trailed by as many as 24. They spent a lot of time down by more than 20.
Well, they've got to ramp their press here, as we've seen them do here the last 3 or 4 minutes, because with 2:13, and if Maryland's going to take 30 off the clock every possession, you just don't have the time.
Almost.
Wow.
Foul called against Phillips that time. Mills was close to turning that one over. And this will be free throws for Mills. First foul against Phillips.
It looks like Phillips did get the arm there, so an aggressive play to split that trap, but you'd rather it be aggressive than have you be tentative.
Right.
And Andre Mills just throws that out there and uses the length and the athleticism to go get the ball.
Mills 1-1. He's made all 3 free throws so far today. Has the lead back up to 10. I've watched him recently, Robbie. He's been mainly a scorer, averaging 23 the last 6 games, but he's been a facilitator most of today.
No, the scoring hasn't really been the story for him in this game. And they've gotten contributions from whether it's Washington with 12 or Saunders with 15, Coit's giving you 17. And he really hasn't had to be. He's just been able to facilitate and pick his spots.
They have been working the ball inside here, mostly to Biddle. Evans also in double figures. Simpkins, Kobzisti, little push shot, gets the roll.
Nice pass there from Simpkins, and a really good cut by Kobzisti to find that open space.
Adams up ahead to Washington. Now Oregon committing fouls here. That one against Evans. That's 4 against Kwame Evans.
But that is who you want at the line. You know, Washington at 65% on the free throw line for the year.
And they're still in the 1-and-1 situation. Washington's strength is rebounds. Number 2 in the Big Ten coming in. He's contributed 5 today to go along with his 12 points. First free throw attempts of the afternoon. Well short. Trailing by 9. Simpkins in a hurry now inside of 2 minutes. Kobzisti high off the glass. Couldn't make it 2 in a row. Nice job by Maryland tapping that back in. Biddle fouls Adams. Missed opportunity there for the Ducks.
And a good drive by Kobzisti. Laid it up soft off the glass there. It rolls off, and Maryland with a really nice job to keep that in play and keep the possession.
So they send the true freshman to the line where he's 3 out of 4 so far today. Good snapshot of his season average at 71%. This is still the 1-and-1. Not the kind of scoring afternoon he had against Illinois when he broke out of a slump and hit 14 points. He's only made 1 out of 10 shots, but doing well from the line.
This is kind of reverted back to what the 5 games leading into Illinois were like for him. Just some struggles, and you know, for freshmen it's never easy, especially late in the season. Just those legs. Darius Adams trying to find that rhythm here.
Evans, 3 no. Washington crashes the board. Off the Terps, it'll stay here with the Ducks 20 to shoot.
I do really enjoy watching how hard Solomon Washington plays.
It's fun, right?
He leaves it out there. He's not the biggest guy, but he is really athletic. Got a physical body on him, and he plays hard.
Talked about Biddle playing in the same spot. Well, Washington's played for the same coach, Buzz Williams. 121 games now. That's just off of Phillips, and they gave it right back to Maryland. Diggy Coit comes back in.
Offense defense sub there. Get Metcalf out, get another handler, and Coit back in the game.
The main story here is the fact that Oregon couldn't hit a shot the first 10 minutes of the game. Then the rebounding, where it's a double-digit lead rebounding margin for Maryland right now.
And the big lineup for Buzz Williams, that was a smart adjustment, right? With the Oregon size, that they were able to match that by starting. You've got Metcalf, Washington, and Saunders all out there to start the game.
Mills explodes in with the right hand. Biddle rebound. Now inside of 1 minute. Simpkins rejected by Washington, but foul against Coit. He almost hit his head on the back.
Yes, he did.
And about half a second where I was worried for him. A split second.
Not many players that you have to have that concern about, but you get the block first, and Washington is just sizing this thing up. He can go.
He kind of turned his head out of the way there. He might have had the same concern we had over here.
It's like he's done that before.
Right? Knew what he was doing. Simpkins knocks down the first. Clock the enemy now of Oregon. They've spent this entire game frenetically chasing the lead of the Terrapins. Briefly had it inside of 10 here in the second half. Circuitous route to the bottom there on that free throw. Into Coit, lost control, but Adams was right there. And he's fouled. He'll go back to the line where he has been awfully comfortable today. He's made 5 out of 6.
Coit is not an easy guy to trap. And with that press, he just catches that thing and he is speeding by you.
Listed at 5'10". I say listed.
That might be one of the good old high school listings. You know, the most effective thing you can do, now you actually have to be tall, but like Kevin Durant has mastered this, where he says he's 6'9", and then you see him and he's 7 foot. But you have to actually be 7 foot to do that, right? Like, it's so many guys go the other way. Then you see those guys and you're like, oh my God, he is huge. But I think when you see Diggy Coit, you have to appreciate the skill he has to put up some of the numbers that he has on the season at his size and stature.
17 points, exploding for some of those threes today. Gobzisti only played here in the second half, batted around. Metcalf had his hands on it. Biddle fires a deep three, well short. Another rebound for Washington.
To just bring it out.
And all signs now officially pointing to Maryland against Iowa tomorrow at 11 a.m. Hawkeyes and Terrapins have played twice.
Yeah.
Iowa got them pretty easily in Iowa City. But then a couple of months later in College Park, it was Maryland.
A team that Maryland has had success against. Only 4 Big Ten wins, but one of them is against the Hawkeyes. And I did really like their approach. You know, you lose a tough one to Illinois. You're 11 and 20. What are you going to look like coming out here? And today they were the harder playing team from the jump. And give credit to both Buzz Williams, his staff, and all the players, because some of these early games could be who wants to be here. Right. And Maryland definitely did.
I saw him snap a losing streak against Washington late last month, but they couldn't turn that into momentum. 4 consecutive losses. Simpkins, that was pretty on the way in. Does get it to go. And they're going to start the Big Ten tournament with at least 1 victory. See where they can take it from here. For the most part, they've done a nice job navigating this full court press, which Oregon's had on the entirety of the second half.
Only 10 turnovers, so under their season average.
Oregon Ducks' frustrating season will end right here. Buzz Williams and the Terrapins will move on. A 10-point win in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. TIAA play of the game. Player of the game, Diggy Coit.
They needed every bit of his scoring here today. 17 points. He did take 17 shots. Not his best day from 3, but aggressive at attacking the rim, getting to his pull-up. And that was a monster defensive play he made there. The big 4-point swing. Oregon was making their run, had a little bit of momentum, and Diggy Coit made that play to totally stop it.
17 points, his best outing he's had in a handful of games, so we've got 1 in the books. Ducks fall to the Terps. They'll take on Iowa. Coming up now in 25 minutes, Northwestern and Penn State. Second and final game we'll have here inside the United Center. Winner of that one will take on the Hoosiers on the next day. Maryland never trailed this entire game here. Took advantage of poor shooting from Oregon. Also won on the glass and enjoyed 17 points from that man right there. A game-high 17 for Diggy Coit. Cruising to a 10-point win. Oregon did have it inside at 10 points there. Provide some hope there for a close game late in that second half. Maryland with a nice response, though, every time. The good combination of patience and getting the ball inside in just enough threes. Saunders made 5 out of 6. Big part of the day. Here's Nicole.
Coach, Maryland lives to fight another day, survives in advance in the Big Ten tournament. Your guys showed a ton of effort and urgency in that game and weathered that storm from Oregon in the second half. What did you learn about your team today?
Well, the results haven't been what we've wanted all year long, but a credit to the character of our guys and the sphere of influence around them. They've hung around, and as I told you pregame, our staff's done a great job of continuing to find margins for us to compete in, and I wish the results were different, as does everyone in our program, but their resilience and their willingness to keep showing up and fight and learn and listen. I'm grateful that we won, but I'm just as grateful that we won because of them.
You split the series with Iowa, but you guys got the best of them the last time you played. What's going to be key against the Hawkeyes tomorrow?
14's as good a guard in the country, and I think those other guys probably don't get the credit they deserve. I would assume that Coach McMullen will be Coach of the Year. He's done an unbelievable job in his first year. Their style of play is so unique. I remember bits and pieces of our game against them. I probably remember our game at Iowa more than I remember our game in College Park. So we were the last team to play the last regular season game. We were the first game of the Big Ten tournament. and we'll be the first game tomorrow. So we've got a lot of studying to do as soon as we get done here, but we'll do the best we can.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you.
Coach Nicole, thank you. Terrapins did very well. They actually led by as many as 24 points. They didn't trail for a second today. Diggy Coit was our top scorer with 17. Solomon Washington helped them inside. They get ready for the Hawkeyes tomorrow. Robbie and I'll be right back here in 20 minutes for Northwestern and Penn State. Right now we hand off to Jack and the guys in the studio.